You won't believe what unfolded when the cameras were supposed to be off, because according to insiders, that's exactly when everything went wrong. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and one woman's carefully controlled public image was suddenly thrown into chaos. Tonight's story centers on Erika Kirk, who insiders say was completely caught off guard when a Turning Point USA cameraman allegedly dropped what's now being called the missing footage. And once that footage surfaced, nothing was ever the same again. At first, it was just a whisper. A rumor passed between staffers. A nervous glance behind the scenes. Then came the texts, the frantic phone calls, the hushed conversations that stopped the moment someone else walked into the room. Fans could feel it, something big was brewing. Something explosive, and Erika, confident and composed just hours earlier, suddenly found herself at the center of a storm she never saw coming. Sources claim the footage in question wasn't supposed to exist at all. Deleted, lost, buried, that's what everyone believed. But when a TPUSA cameraman reportedly stepped forward with a hard drive no one knew he still had, the atmosphere changed instantly. What was on it? Why had it been hidden? And most importantly, who stood to lose everything if it came out? Witnesses say Erika's reaction said it all. One moment she was laughing, surrounded by supporters and flashing that familiar smile. The next, her face drained of color as a single sentence cut through the noise. "You need to see this." Now, emotions ran high as the room reportedly fell silent, the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone present. Fans are shocked because this wasn't just about footage, it was about trust, betrayal, and a past that may have been carefully rewritten. As word began to spread, reactions poured in. Friends questioned loyalties. Colleagues picked sides. Online supporters demanded answers, while critics sharpened their accusations. The family was left divided, with some urging Erika to speak out immediately and others warning her to stay silent at all costs. Every second that passed only fueled the speculation. What exactly was on that missing footage, and why did it have the power to unravel everything? And just when it seemed like the tension couldn't rise any higher, one insider dropped a chilling line that sent shockwaves through the fanbase. This isn't the full story. This is just the beginning. The moment the hard drive hit the table, the room felt smaller, like the walls themselves were leaning in to listen. Erika Kirk didn't speak at first, she just stared at it as if it were breathing, as if it might suddenly open itself and scream every secret she had buried over the years. The TPUSA cameraman stood there frozen, his hands shaking, his jaw tight, like he already knew this was the point of no return. Someone whispered, "Are you serious?" and another voice answered him with a sharp, "Yes, I'm serious. This is the footage everyone said was gone." Erika's heart was pounding so loud she was sure the microphone clipped to her jacket could pick it up. The irony wasn't lost on her. She had spent years controlling narratives, shaping moments, choosing what the audience could and could not see, and now here, she was blindsided by something she never approved, never reviewed, never prepared for. Fans would later say this was the exact second everything changed, because from that moment on Erika was no longer in control. She finally broke the silence, her voice calm but strained. "Where did you get that?" Her eyes never left the drive. The cameraman swallowed hard and said, "I never deleted it. I was told to, but I didn't." Emotions ran high instantly. Accusations flew across the room. "Who told you to delete it? Who else knows about this? Why bring it up now?" Erika felt heat rise to her face, but she forced a smile, the kind she had perfected over time. "Listen everyone, let's just slow down. We don't even know what's on it." That lie tasted bitter. She knew exactly what was on it. Late night conversations, off camera arguments she thought were private, comments she assumed would never leave the room, moments where the polished persona cracked and the real frustration came through. The footage was from a chaotic weekend months ago, a TPUSA event that had already been controversial even with the edited version that went public. The missing footage was the stuff they cut, the stuff that could change how everyone saw her. The cameraman looked around like he was searching for backup. "There isn't just one clip," he said quietly. "It's ours." The word "ours" echoed. Erika's phone buzzed nonstop. In her pocket, messages from her team, from friends, from people who had already sensed something was wrong. One text stood out: "Did you know about this?" Her chest tightened because the answer was no, and admitting that felt more dangerous than lying. She took a step back and crossed her arms, buying herself time. "What do you want?" she asked the cameraman. His eyes flicked up to hers. "I just didn't want this to disappear again," he said. Fans are shocked by that line alone, because it sounded less like a threat and more like a confession. Something about it made the room uneasy. As word leaked beyond that closed door, the reactions came fast. Staffers whispered in hallways, phones were pulled out, doors were shut. Erika's inner circle tried to contain it, but the damage was already spreading. One aide leaned in and hissed, "Twitter is already speculating someone saw the cameraman walk in with something." Erika closed her eyes for a split second and exhaled. This was how it always started. A glimpse, a rumor, and then an avalanche. She opened her eyes and said firmly, "No one posts anything, no one shares anything until I say so." But even as she said it, she could feel the power slipping away, because this time it wasn't just online chatter, it was tangible proof sitting on a table between them. Minutes later, the first confrontation happened. A longtime colleague stormed in, anger written all over her face. "Is this true?" she demanded. "Is there footage we never addressed?" Erika tried to reason with her. "Lower your voice, we're handling it." But the colleague laughed bitterly. "Handling it like last time, because that worked so well." The room split instantly, sides forming without anyone saying it out loud. Some people stood closer to Erika, others drifted toward the door, toward distance and deniability. The family was left divided, metaphorically already and soon very literally, as calls went out to relatives asking what they knew and when they knew it. Erika's sister called, her phone ringing through the chaos, and when Erika answered, she heard panic on the other end. "Tell me this isn't bad, tell me this isn't going to destroy everything." Erika didn't know what to say because she hadn't seen the footage yet, and that unknown terrified her more than anything she had ever faced publicly. They decided to watch it right then and there. Lights dimmed, blinds closed, the cameraman plugged in the drive, hands trembling again. The screen flickered to life and the first clip played. It started innocently enough, Erika backstage joking, complaining about the schedule, then her tone shifted, frustration spilled out, unfiltered comments about allies, about strategy, about optics, moments that without context could look cold, calculating, even cruel. Gasps filled the room. Someone muttered, "Oh my God." Erika felt like she was watching a stranger and at the same time watching herself stripped bare, every defense gone. She wanted to stop it, to scream, cut it, but she forced herself to keep watching because she knew running now would look worse. Then came the argument, the one she had prayed never existed on camera. A heated exchange with another TPUSA figure, voices raised, words, sharp accusations thrown back and forth. Erika on screen slammed her hand on a table, saying, "Don't put this on me when you know exactly what you promised." Emotions ran high in the room watching it unfold live. Months later, one person whispered, "This is bad." Another said, "Wait, there's more." The clip continued, Erika walking away, mic still hot, muttering something under her breath that made several people flinch. Silence followed, thick and suffocating. Erika finally spoke, "Turn it off." The screen went black and the reality of what they had just seen settled over everyone like a heavy fog. "You see now why this can't get out," Erika said, her voice barely above a whisper, but the cameraman shook his head. "That's not my call anymore," he said, and that's when she realized how deep this went, because while they were locked in that room, the outside world was already reacting. A blogger had posted a vague tweet, "Insiders claim unseen footage may surface, fans are shocked and demanding transparency." The comment sections exploded. "Pick a side, tell the truth, release it all." Erika's name trended for reasons she couldn't control. Friends started distancing themselves, publicly posting neutral statements or nothing at all, which somehow felt louder. The betrayal stung most from those she thought would stand by her no matter what. Her phone rang again. This time it was her father, his voice calm but disappointed. "I'm hearing things, Erika," he said, "things I don't like." Erika swallowed hard. "Dad, please not now." But he pressed on. "You always said honesty mattered more than image. Is that still true?" The question cut deeper than any accusation because she didn't know how to answer it anymore. After she hung up, she felt tears threaten, but she blinked them back. She couldn't break, not here, not now. Instead, she straightened her posture and addressed the room. "We need a plan," she said. "We can't pretend this doesn't exist, but we also can't let it define me." Someone snapped back, "It already is defining you, Erika." The words hung in the air, undeniable. Late that night, Erika sat alone, replaying the clips in her mind, every word, every expression, imagining how fans would interpret them, how critics would weaponize them. She drafted statements, deleted them, drafted again. Nothing felt right because there was no perfect spin this time. The truth was messy and raw and out of her control. Her closest friend texted, "You okay?" Erika typed back, "I don't know how to be okay when everything feels like it's about to explode." And somewhere across town, the cameraman received an anonymous message saying, "Don't release it, think about what you're doing." He stared at his phone, realizing he was now a central character in a drama far bigger than he ever wanted to be. And as dawn approached, the question remained unanswered: would the missing footage stay hidden, or was the next bombshell already on its way to the public eye? By the time morning light crept through the blinds, Erika hadn't slept at all. Her phone lay face down on the table like a threat. Every buzz, every vibration made her flinch. When she finally turned it over, the screen was flooded. Missed calls, unread messages, notifications stacked so high they blurred together. "Fans are shocked." One headline read, "Speculation grows over unreleased footage." Another said. She tossed the phone aside and pressed her palms into her eyes, trying to steady her breathing. This was no longer a private crisis, it was a public spectacle unfolding in real time, and everyone had an opinion before she even spoke. Downstairs the house was already tense. Her sister paced the kitchen scrolling through social media. Her brother leaned against the counter, arms crossed, jaw clenched. "You need to say something," he said without looking up. "Silence makes you look guilty," Erika snapped back. "I haven't even processed this myself. How am I supposed to address the world?" Her sister spun around. Emotions ran high because while you're processing it, everyone else is deciding who you are. The family was left divided right there in that room, some urging immediate transparency, others begging her to protect herself at all costs. Their mother finally spoke softly but firmly, "Whatever you do, it has to be the truth, even if it hurts." Erika felt tears well again. This time she didn't fight them. Meanwhile, across town, the cameraman sat in his car staring at the building where he'd just met with a reporter. Yes, a reporter. The decision had been made for him after the anonymous threats, after the pressure. He needed protection, and the only way to get it was to bring someone else in. The reporter had listened carefully, nodding, asking questions, never revealing her own stance. "If this footage exists," she said, "people will want to see it. The question is how and when and at what cost." The cameraman thought of Erika's face, the shock, the fear, the anger. He hadn't expected to feel sympathy, but he did, and that made everything harder. By midday, Erika's team gathered around her laptops, open coffee untouched. They drafted a statement, then tore it apart. Too defensive, too vague, too emotional, too cold. Nothing satisfied everyone, and that was the problem. Someone would always be unhappy. Erika finally slammed her hand on the table. "Enough," she said. "We're not going to win everyone over, but I refuse to be painted as something I'm not." A junior aide hesitated, then spoke carefully. "But what if the footage shows a side of you people haven't seen?" Erika's eyes flashed. "Then maybe they need to see it in context, not chopped up, not leaked." She paused, considering her own words. Had she just agreed to release it herself? The room went silent. Outside the bubble, reactions intensified. Fans split into camps, some defending her fiercely, saying everyone has off moments, others accusing her of hypocrisy, betrayal, manipulation. Emotions ran high. Online threads stretched for thousands of comments. Old clips resurfaced, dissected frame by frame. People claimed they saw signs all along. The narrative was being rewritten without her permission. Erika watched from a distance, feeling like a bystander in her own life. Her closest ally from the organization called her voice low, urgent. "You need to know leadership is nervous. They're asking questions about your future." Erika closed her eyes. So this was the betrayal she had feared the most, not just public backlash but internal abandonment. That evening, the reporter's story dropped, not the footage but confirmation that it existed. That alone sent shockwaves through the internet. Missing footage confirmed, insiders say. Erika Kirk caught off guard. Fans are shocked. The phrasing echoed everywhere. Erika's name trended again, this time alongside words like exposed, truth, accountability. She watched the numbers climb, feeling numb. The cameraman texted her before she could reach out to him. "I'm sorry, I didn't want it like this." She stared at the message, then replied, "I don't know what I wanted, but this isn't it." The first interview request came minutes later, then another and another. Erika declined them all, but each rejection felt like another nail hammered into a narrative she wasn't shaping anymore. Her father called again, this time angry. "Why am I finding out from the news?" he demanded. Erika's voice cracked. "I didn't know how to tell you." There was a long pause before he said quietly, "You taught people to be bold, to speak out. Now they expect the same from you." After the call, Erika broke down fully, the weight of years of expectations crashing down at once. Late that night, she sat with her team and made a decision. "We're doing one interview," she said. "My terms, my timing, full context, no cuts, no ambush." The room buzzed with mixed reactions. Risky, necessary, dangerous, brave. She didn't care anymore. She was tired of hiding, tired of guessing what people would think if she just existed as herself. But even as she resolved to face the storm, another twist loomed, unseen, because across town the reporter received a second message, this one not from the cameraman but from an unknown source, claiming to have additional footage, angles, audio, things even the cameraman hadn't mentioned. The reporter's eyes widened as she read the words, "If true, this could change everything." Again, as Erika prepared for the interview, rehearsing answers, bracing herself for judgment, the ground beneath her continued to shift. Allies questioned their loyalty, critics sharpened their knives, and fans waited anxiously, refreshing their feeds. Emotions ran high because everyone sensed the same thing: this story wasn't finished, not even close, and whatever came next would force Erika to confront not just the public but herself in ways she never imagined. The interview day arrived faster than Erika expected. The hours leading up to it blurred together. Makeup, lights, cameras, the familiar environment that once felt empowering now felt like a courtroom. She sat in the chair, adjusting her jacket, hands clasped tightly in her lap, reminding herself to breathe. The producer counted down quietly, and in that final second before going live, Erika felt a strange calm settle over her. If everything was going to burn, at least she would finally stop guessing how hot the fire would be. The interviewer started gently asking about her career, her values, her rise. The questions felt almost nostalgic, like a highlight reel before the fall. Erika answered smoothly, years of experience carrying her through. Then it came, the pivot, the missing footage. The room seemed to hold its breath. Erika leaned forward. "I want to be very clear," she said. "My reaction when I found out was shock, not because I'm hiding something, but because I believed we had agreed on what was public and what was private." Fans are shocked by how steady her voice sounded, but those closest to her could see the tension in her jaw. The interviewer pressed further. "Did you say things in that footage you regret?" Erika paused long enough for the silence to speak for her. "Yes," she finally said, "I did, and that doesn't make me evil. It makes me human." As the interview aired live, reactions exploded instantly. Some praised her honesty, others accused her of damage control. Emotions ran high across platforms. Commentators argued over tone, body language, intent. Erika watched snippets from backstage, her heart racing with every notification. Then halfway through the interview, the unexpected happened. The interviewer shifted in her seat and said, "Erika, we've received confirmation there may be additional footage beyond what you referenced." Erika's breath caught. "Additional?" How? The interviewer continued. "We can't verify it yet, but sources claim it shows events from later that night." Erika's composure cracked just slightly. Her eyes widened. She shook her head. "I haven't seen anything beyond what I described. If there's more, then I was unaware of it, and that's
the truth."
The moment the interview ended, Erika was ushered off set, her team surrounding her, voices overlapping. "What was that about? Additional footage? Who else could have it?" Erika felt dizzy, the ground slipping again. She checked her phone, dozens of missed messages. One from the cameraman stood out. "I didn't send anything else, I swear." Another from an unknown number said, "You don't know everything yet, do you?" Fear crept in, cold and sharp, because for the first time Erika realized she might not be fighting a single leak, but a network of them. Back home, her family watched the interview together, the living room thick with tension. Her mother wiped away tears. Her brother scoffed at the screen, saying, "They're setting you up." Her sister stayed quiet, scrolling through comments, reading them aloud, only the harshest ones. "Why did she wait so long to tell the truth? This feels rehearsed. I used to support her, not anymore." The family was left divided. Again, this time not just over strategy but belief. Erika's brother finally asked the question no one wanted to voice. "Did you ever think this would catch up to you?" Erika snapped back, "I never thought private conversations would be weaponized." He shot back, "Private doesn't mean harmless," and the words stung because they carried a truth Erika hadn't fully faced. Meanwhile, the reporter dug deeper, following the new lead, meeting sources, cross-checking timelines. The picture forming was bigger, messier. A late-night meeting after the event, voices raised, alliances, shifting, deals discussed, none of it illegal but all of it explosive in the wrong framing. The reporter knew releasing it would change the story from personal misstep to systemic issue. She wrestled with the decision because while the public deserved transparency, Erika wasn't the only one who would be affected. Careers, reputations, relationships all hung in the balance. The cameraman watched it all unfold, feeling guilt gnaw at him. He never intended to start a wildfire. He reached out to Erika again, this time asking to meet in person. She agreed reluctantly, needing answers. They met in a quiet cafe, sitting across from each other, strangers bound by shared chaos. "I swear I didn't give anyone else footage," he said. Erika studied his face, searching for deception. "Then where is it coming from?" He hesitated, then said, "There was another crew that night, freelance. Some of their gear mirrored ours." Erika's stomach dropped. How many people had access? He shook his head. "I don't know, but more than just me." As days passed, the pressure mounted. Leadership within the organization issued a carefully worded statement distancing themselves from speculation without explicitly defending Erika. She read it over and over, feeling the subtle abandonment. Fans noticed too. Comments flooded in asking why no one was standing by her. Friends from the past went silent. Others spoke out in her defense, but their voices were drowned out by the noise. Erika began to isolate herself, turning off notifications, sitting alone, replaying memories, trying to pinpoint where everything went wrong. Then the second leak hit, not full footage but an audio clip, grainy, raw, unmistakable. Erika's voice again, this time sounding tired, angry, defeated. It spread like wildfire, captions stripped of context, twisting words into weapons. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high. Critics declared this the final nail. Erika watched it play on loop, tears streaming freely now, no filter, no performance, just exhaustion. Her phone rang and rang. She ignored it until a single name flashed, her mentor, the one person she trusted implicitly. She answered, voice breaking, "I don't know how to survive this." He listened, then said quietly, "You survive by owning every part of it, even the parts you hate." That night Erika made a choice. She went live unannounced, no makeup, no script, just her sitting in her living room looking straight into the camera. "I won't hide anymore," she said, her voice trembling. "I said things I regret. I hurt people. I disappointed some of you, and I'm sorry, but I also won't accept lies about who I am." She addressed each clip, each accusation, admitting faults, correcting falsehoods. The rawness stunned viewers. Some softened, others hardened, but no one looked away. The stream drew record numbers, the comments a flood of support and hate intertwined. The family watched from the next room, silent witnesses to her unraveling and rebuilding all at once. As the stream ended, Erika felt oddly lighter. The worst was out there, nothing left to conceal, but even in that moment of clarity another storm brewed unseen. The reporter prepared her full exposé, now armed with confirmation from multiple sources, and as Erika finally slept for the first time in days, the world prepared to wake up to a story even bigger than the one she thought she had just faced. The exposé dropped just before sunrise, a calculated move designed to dominate the entire news cycle. Erika woke to her phone vibrating endlessly, alerts stacking faster than she could read them. She opened one article, then another, her name everywhere, quotes pulled, context stitched together into a narrative that felt both familiar and distorted. The headline framed it as a reckoning not just for her, but for an entire movement. Fans are shocked didn't even begin to capture the reaction. This time it was bigger, louder, messier. Erika sat on the edge of her bed, scrolling, hands shaking. The reporter hadn't lied exactly, but she hadn't told the whole truth either. Late-night meetings were framed as secret plots, frustration as manipulation, strategic disagreements as betrayal. Erika felt sick because she could see how easily it all fit together from the outside. Her phone rang. It was leadership. This time the tone was formal, distant. "We need to discuss next steps." Erika already knew what that meant. She listened quietly as they spoke about optics, damage control, pauses, commitments that need reevaluating. When the call ended, she stared at the wall, feeling something snap inside her. Not anger, not fear, just a deep aching exhaustion. Downstairs her family gathered again, the ritual repeating itself like a curse. Her brother slammed his fist on the table. "This is ridiculous. They're using you as a scapegoat." Her sister shook her head. "No, they're using what she gave them." Silence fell. Erika finally spoke. "I didn't give them this," she said softly, "but I gave them enough to imagine the rest, and that's on me." Emotions ran high because no one knew how to respond to that level of honesty. Her mother hugged her tightly, whispering, "We'll get through this even if the world turns its back." Online the divisions hardened. Some fans doubled down, defending Erika, pointing out inconsistencies, calling out selective outrage. Others felt betrayed, posting long threads about broken trust. People she had never met debated her character like it was public property. Memes appeared, cruel and mocking. Late-night hosts joked about her downfall. Erika avoided it all, retreating inward, but even isolation couldn't protect her when a former ally went live accusing her directly of manipulation and intimidation. The allegations spread fast, unchecked and explosive. The family was left divided again, not by belief this time but by fear. How far would this go? Erika's team scrambled to respond. Legal consultations, crisis meetings, non-stop calls. One advisor urged silence, let it burn out. Another pushed for aggressive rebuttal. Erika listened, then surprised them all by saying, "I'm stepping back from everything." The room froze. Stepping back from what? They asked. Everything. She repeated. The role, the spotlight, the constant defense. "I need to breathe. This isn't me quitting, it's me surviving." Some protested, others understood reluctantly. Arrangements were made, statements drafted, her absence framed as reflection, accountability, growth. But Erika knew no statement could capture the truth. She was running because she had to. The cameraman watched the fallout, feeling a knot of guilt tighten with every new accusation. He reached out again, offering to testify, to timelines, to clarify what he knew. Erika thanked him but declined. This had grown beyond footage, beyond him, beyond her. Even the reporter felt the weight of it. Sources went silent. Backlash hit her. 2 accusations of bias, agenda, chasing clout. She reread her own work, questioning every choice, but the machine was already moving independent of her intentions. Days passed, slower, now heavy with uncertainty. Erika stayed offline, avoiding mirrors, avoiding reminders of who she was supposed to be. One afternoon her father visited, sitting beside her in the quiet living room. They talked not about headlines but childhood memories, mistakes, forgiveness. He told her something she hadn't expected. People aren't reacting to the footage, they're reacting to the idea of you not matching the version they built. Erika nodded, tears streaming, because she finally understood the pedestal had always been the most dangerous place. Then another twist emerged. A whistleblower from within the organization released a statement corroborating some of Erika's claims about internal pressure, scapegoating, narrative control. The story shifted slightly. Commentators recalibrated opinions, fans reconsidered positions. Emotions ran high again, but this time mixed with doubt. Was Erika more victim than villain? The questions reopened wounds, but also possibilities. Erika watched from afar, feeling cautious hope for the first time in weeks. As discussions evolved, so did Erika. She began journaling, therapy, long walks without cameras, without performance. She confronted parts of herself she'd ignored: ambition, fear, anger, the need for approval. She wrote apology letters, some sent, some kept private. She realized accountability wasn't a single statement but a process, one that didn't guarantee forgiveness and that had to be okay. One evening she went live again, quietly announcing her step back, thanking supporters, acknowledging critics without defensiveness. She didn't ask for understanding, she asked for time. The response was mixed but calmer. The noise softened slightly. The world moved on to the next outrage, as it always did, leaving behind echoes, lessons, scars. Erika logged off, feeling something close to peace, knowing the story wasn't over but it was finally hers to live, not just survive. Weeks turned into a strange quiet, the kind that feels louder than chaos. Erika kept her promise and stayed offline, but the world didn't forget her name. Commentators still referenced her story as a cautionary tale. Supporters still sent messages. Critics still waited for a misstep. The silence became its own test. Could she exist without reacting, without defending, without performing? She woke early each day, cooked her own meals, walked unfamiliar routes just to feel anonymous again. Emotions ran high internally even when nothing happened externally, because growth was uncomfortable and slow. Then the call came from an unexpected number. A former executive from the organization asking to meet, not to negotiate, not to accuse, just to talk. Erika almost declined, but curiosity and a need for closure pushed her to agree. They met in a quiet office, no cameras, no assistants, just two people who once shared goals, now standing on opposite sides of a fractured story. He spoke first, saying, "What happened to you wasn't fair, but it also wasn't random." Erika listened as he described internal dynamics, power struggles, and spoken expectations, the need for a fall person when pressure mounted. The family was left divided again, metaphorically, as Erika realized how many people had known this system existed yet played along for years, including herself. "You were effective," he said, "and that made you dangerous." Erika laughed bitterly. "I was convenient," she replied. The conversation shifted, something inside her, not vindication but clarity. She didn't need to be redeemed by the same structures that had chewed her up. She needed to redefine success entirely. When she left that office, she didn't feel relief, she felt resolve. Online, the narrative continued to evolve. A few prominent voices publicly apologized for rushing to judgment. Others doubled down, refusing to let go of the villain they'd created. Fans are shocked by how quickly empathy can turn and turn again. Erika watched sparingly, learning to detach from every opinion. She began volunteering quietly, working with groups far removed from her old world. No branding, no speeches, just work. The simplicity grounded her in ways fame never had. The cameraman eventually released a full statement detailing timelines, decisions, pressures he faced. It didn't erase the damage, but it complicated the story further. The reporter followed up, acknowledging gaps, updating her coverage. The cycle spun again, but with less venom, more nuance. Erika appreciated the shift, but didn't rush back to claim it. She understood now that closure rarely arrives neatly. Family dynamics softened over time. Arguments gave way to conversations. Apologies flowed both directions. Her brother admitted his fear. Her sister confessed resentment. Their mother reminded them love wasn't conditional on public approval. The family was left divided, no longer by conflict but by different healing speeds, and that was okay. Holidays felt quieter, warmer, less performative. Erika laughed genuinely for the first time in months, surprised by the sound of it. Offers began to trickle in, carefully worded invitations to return to the spotlight on safer terms. Erika declined most. She wasn't ready and maybe never would be. She considered writing, not a tell-all but a reflection on power, pressure, identity, something honest, something slow. She took notes, unsure if anyone would ever read them, but knowing she needed to write them anyway. One afternoon, she received a message from a young supporter who wrote, "I watched everything happen and I'm glad you showed that people can mess up and still keep going." Erika cried reading that because it felt like the truest outcome of all, not redemption, not cancellation, just humanity. She replied thanking them and closed her laptop, feeling lighter. As the year edged forward, Erika made one final public appearance, a small community panel, no broadcast. She spoke plainly about mistakes, accountability, resilience. She didn't name names, didn't relitigate the past. She focused on lessons. The audience listened quietly. Some recognized her, most didn't, and that anonymity felt like freedom. When she walked off stage, there was no applause, just a few nods, and that was enough. Late that night, Erika reflected on the journey, the missing footage, the betrayal, the collapse, and the rebuilding. She realized the footage hadn't destroyed her, it had stripped away illusions, forcing her to confront herself and the systems she upheld. The story that once felt like an ending now felt like a beginning, uncertain, imperfect, but real. And as she turned off the light, she knew whatever came next would be on her terms, not shaped by edits, leaks, or expectations, but by the person she was becoming, one quiet, honest step at a time. So now the question is yours. What do you think really happened here? Was Erika Kirk a calculated figure finally exposed, or a human being crushed by a system that needed someone to fall? Was the missing footage the truth everyone deserved to see, or just another weapon used when the narrative slipped out of control? Emotions ran high throughout this entire saga, and even now nothing feels fully resolved, because stories like this never end cleanly. They linger, they divide, they force uncomfortable conversations, and that's exactly why this one won't be forgotten anytime soon. You watched a rise, you witnessed a collapse, and you saw the slow, painful attempt to rebuild something real from the wreckage. Fans are shocked not just by what was revealed but by how quickly public loyalty can shift, how easily judgment replaces understanding, and how fast a person can go from praised to picked apart. The family was left divided, friendships were tested, careers were shaken, and yet, through all of it, one thing became clear: silence isn't protection and truth is rarely simple. Now ask yourself, if you were in her place, what would you have done differently? Would you have released the footage yourself, stayed quiet, fought back harder, or walked away sooner? It's easy to judge from the outside, but much harder when the cameras are on. The pressure is constant and the world feels entitled to every version of you. This story forces you to look beyond headlines, beyond clips, beyond outrage, and consider the cost of living your life in public, where every mistake is permanent and every reaction is dissected. And this is where you come in, because your voice matters just as much as the ones you saw on screen. Do you believe accountability was served here, or was it selective? Do you think Erika's decision to step back was an escape or an act of survival? Do you think the media went too far or not far enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation doesn't end with the video, it continues with you reading, responding, challenging each other, and maybe even changing perspectives. If this story kept you hooked, if the twists made you pause, if the emotions felt uncomfortably real, then make sure you hit that like button. It tells us you want more deep dives, more dramatic breakdowns, and more stories that don't shy away from the messy parts of human behavior. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what comes next, because trust us, the next story might be even bigger and you won't want to be the last to hear it. And don't forget to share this video with someone who loves real drama, real consequences, and real conversations, because the more people who watch, the louder the discussion becomes. Whether you support Erika, criticize her, or still feel undecided, your perspective adds another layer to this unfolding narrative. Stay curious, stay critical, and remember, every viral moment has a backstory, and every backstory has more than one side. We'll see you in the next video.